is a production of the Must See TV Broadcast Network, like ShareJoin, and follow us for all the latest updates. Like what you see, then throw those stars and show your support. And don't be shy, subscribe to the Caveman. He won't bite, and if you're watching us right now on YouTube, then you already know what to do. Smash that like and subscribe button. Even one view can prevent one puppy from being shaven. A big fist pump goes to Donna, AI, and Music Mint for the incredible music that is in this episode. All rights belong to Christopher Michael Egerhos, aka the Caveman. So if he's ready, and if you're ready, then let's kick this show off. Growl, growl.
Lights up on the screen, it's time to see 5 days a week, we're where you wanna be. Exclusive shows and reels, we got the vibe. Tune into the network, hop on Facebook Live. Riding with the stars in our unique groove. Laughter twists and turns within every move. Must see TV's the place to catch it all. Epic moments, big and small, give us a call. Oh, you know it's must see TV, come alive. Every day we light the way on Facebook Live. Catch the magic, hear the roar, feel the beat. Must see TV, the place where worlds meet. Jump right in, the fun's about to start. Bringing shows and stories straight to your heart. With every post and every share, we're free. Gotta get that fix of must-see TV. Round and round, don't let this moment fade. Together on this ride, the best we've ever made. Get the popcorn ready, it's your time to shine. Must-see TV will keep you feeling fine. Oh, you know it's must-see TV, come alive. Every day we light the way on Facebook Live. Catch the magic, hear the roar, feel the beat. Must-see TV, the place where worlds meet. Oh, you know it's must-see TV, come alive. Every day we light the way on Facebook Live. Catch the magic, hear the roar, feel the beat. Must-see TV, the place where worlds meet.
All right. LB, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new episode of The Page Redemption. I'm the Caveman. Hello. In the studio with me is Roland. Say hello, Roland.
Hello, Roland.
And one of our brand new, actually she's official now. It's official. She's my new second in command, Pebbles, my daughter. Say hello, my dear.
Hello, my dear. Hi, Caveman.
Hello. And the showrunner of this beautiful, wonderful mess of a show, the beautiful, talented, mystical, magical, wonderful, fantastical, brilliant, ever loyal, a beacon of light in the dark night. No, wait, no. You forgot that you screwed up the ritual. We can't summon her now. Oh no. What are we gonna do? Nobody has ever interrupted the ritual before. What are we gonna do? Okay, anyway, the LB. How's it going, LB?
Oh, you're ridiculous.
No one has ever interrupted that ritual before. I didn't know what to do. Were you gonna appear? Did the spell
yeah, I'll
work?
always appear. I'm ever loyal, apparently.
Yeah.
So always I'll appear.
The beacon in the darkness.
A beacon of light in the dark.
Yes.
It's so much responsibility.
Yeah.
I'm so tired. Can I turn the light bulb off for like a second?
Yeah.
Hi. Yeah, no, it's going. It's definitely going. I know we've sort of been going back and forth about this episode for quite a while.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, life has just gotten in the way of things. This was supposed to happen in August, and it is almost October.
Yeah, it's to be fair, we've been dealing with stuff here. I've been getting a handler number 2, stuff like that. So we probably for the best. Now things have hopefully settled down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, like, also same. I've had one day off a week, and it's been Sundays, which we don't do.
Yeah.
So it's not. I also haven't really been available.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, why don't we get into what our first impressions?
It's
we're going to be talking
Bridget
about
Collins.
The Silence Factory from Bridget Collins.
You know, I thought it sounded familiar, and I'm like, we do so many books, right? And I can't keep track of all the authors. I'm like, Bridget Collins, that sounds familiar. And after the book, I started to read down. I'm like, the binding. That's all I needed to know. And I'm like, LB.
Did we read The Binding?
Yes.
I don't remember that at all.
It was the first episode of the page of Dark Magic.
As a fellow bookworm, it is so easy to forget how many books you have read.
Yeah. We have literally
yes.
hundreds at this point.
What?
Yes.
I don't remember.
This is because I interrupted the ritual. I'm
Yeah,
so sorry.
yeah.
It was my fault.
Yeah.
No, I mean not at all. That's we did this book and that's annoying. Well, this is what happens when you completely burn yourself out and you desperately search for books that you haven't done before.
Yep.
To be clear, guys, we've done this author before, but we haven't done this book before.
Oh, don't worry, LB. Next time it's Wuthering Heights. I've sold the caveman.
It's not going to be Wuthering Heights. It's not going to be Wuthering Heights.
Oh, yes, it will be. I'll read it with you.
No, it's
Yes.
not. No, it's not. It's not going to be Wuthering Heights.
Wuthering Heights.
It's not
This is
going to be
new.
Wuthering Heights. It's a nope. So yeah, I mean, I was intrigued about the spiders, the thread, the silk. I'm like, oh my god, this is going to be a neat concept, and this is going to, hopefully tie in to the rest of the book. Hopefully, this is going to be very meaningful and important to the story. I was so excited. And that's my reactions. Those are my reactions.
So I came across this book. I'm not gonna lie, I have had a freaking time with it trying to find books as of late, and I spent like a good couple of hours literally just finding this book.
Yes.
To just try something that's like something I haven't done before, something that matches all our criteria for the show, something that sounds good and I actually want to read. And I'm going through a slump right now where I don't want to read freaking anything. And also, of course, something that's available for you to listen to in Canada, and something that I can actually buy over here.
Yes.
Which, annoyingly enough, we've had a couple of slip ups this year with just either the book being available for me and not for you, or vice
Due to
versa.
licensing, yeah, rights and
Yeah,
stuff like
so
that.
just or like randomly being out of print for the month that we're doing it for,
Yes.
which is like super helpful. Anyway, all that to be said, I actually came across this book, and then I realized that a friend of mine at work had recommended this book whilst they were reading it. And the concept sounded really cool. So yeah, I was intrigued, to say the least. I was a little bit wary because I know the setting was supposed to be sort of like Victorian-ish England, like not specifically in a place or like a historical point, but I know it was supposed to be sort of like in that era, and we kind of try to go wholly
Yes.
on fantasy.
Yeah.
But I figured, it'll be cool. It'll be fun. It'll be interesting. Yeah. I don't know why you call this season Redemption.
Well, because I wanted to give you a
I
redemptive
know,
arc.
but it's put so much pressure on me. Anyway, why don't I get into a brief little bio on Bridget Collins?
We
as I
already
do
did.
for each show.
We already
well,
did.
I know, but we did that not this year, and it's a brief one because
Okay.
there's not much to
All
be
right.
found on her. So
All right.
I can
Go
go through
ahead.
it again, or we can skip over that. And we can go to X's and
All right. Okay. It's your show. It's your show. Whatever you want to do. If you want to do that, be my guest.
Okay, I'll briefly go over it. Seeing as, you can find this before. Hilariously, I should have remembered her because she was born in Kent. She lives in Kent, which is, like, close to me. She's got an English degree at Cambridge, and she also went to Lambda, which is a big drama school over here. She started writing YA novels, published in 2008. Her first one won the Branford Bose Award, which is the Trader game. And then it's so funny, in 2019, she was shortlisted Book of the Year with The Binding. The Silence Factory was published in 2024, and she is a full-time writer, and she does still act in some like community theater and that sort of thing. And I think, if I can be correct in sort of like my internet searchings, she is in a show of The Crucible this October.
Oh, that's cool.
Fun facts. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool thing. It kind of goes along with the vibe. But without further ado, let's get into our check marks for this book. Would you like to start?
Oh, LB, this is your show. And, you're the showrunner. And it's rude. It's so rude for a man like me to take the lead. We got a strong woman here. Far be it for me to just rip the glory and spotlight from you. Why don't you kick us off with your first check mark?
Oh, wow. Flattery will get you everywhere. Okay. What I did like about this is the spiders themselves and how, like, the magic that's in this is sort of like myth mixed with science. Because,
Yes.
as you should know by now in the show, but if you're new, there will be spoilers. So if you don't want spoilers, go read the book, come back.
Very heavily, it's going to be, we're going to spoil
Spoilers.
the shit out of this book.
So I mean, personally for me, I love like Greek myths.
Yes.
I partially went to school for that. I am about it. So I was like, okay, cool. Very interesting that they're integrating like colonialism, and how a lot of scientific discovery has a lot of that with it. So I loved how that was interpreted within the book, as well as how like the spiders and the silk itself was presented, because like you can't really explain what happens there. Like what we're sort of seeing is like there's like this shroud that's created essentially between death and life, and like you're hearing echoes, sort of, and then this absolute silence on the other side. And I thought that was so interesting how like it was clearly thought out, like how that could possibly work, and like how what that would develop around like a culture around that, and how the beauty within that sort of like kind of terrifying
Yes.
concept, if we're really honest. Like, when I did suggest, a book about spiders, I was like, okay, cool, we can do this. I like spiders, but they are also freaky.
Yeah.
So obviously, so I liked how it was sort of explained the science within it, and how like it was sort of extracted in that way, while also still holding on to that like mythological, unexplainable, magical kind of aspect behind that. I thought
Yes.
that was really cool.
Yes. Damn you.
That was my first check mark.
Damn you,
How about
taking
you?
that. Damn you. I have to now to come up with the check mark of my own now. That was
I mean,
my
you can
first.
bounce off that if you
I know. So, no, I actually have like a real check mark. The diary
sure you do.
entries. That was my favorite part of the book.
Uh-huh. Same.
And
No signal is detected. Do you want to check your input connections now? No, yes. Yes button.
if
Not right now.
I don't know what happened there, but if Pebbles can
It's
turn
the-
off the
It's
TV.
the ghosts.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. I'm
All
so
right.
sorry.
Yeah, so anyway, those diary entries, I thought it was the best part of the book for me. I love that. What the hell is happening? Turning the TV off. You know the long controller, the plastic one, the long one, that looks like a knife. That here. Okay, we're gonna pause here. Give me the controller. I'm gonna show you. Just give me the. This is the one to take.
Presently, there is
Okay.
audio issues.
Oh yeah,
We'll return
there
to
is
the
audio.
manual.
Okay,
No, yes. Yes button.
okay, there we go. There we go. All right, yeah. The diary entries, LB, is like my favorite part of the book. I really enjoyed them. I got lost in those entries. Very elegant. I loved how the characters were portrayed, how it was written. I loved every time we went to 1820 back then, like a prequel, if you would say, with the diary entries, and I love that. I love the characters. I love where it was set. It was set in Greece, on a Greek island. It was a breath of fresh air.
Absolutely. I mean, I 100%. The journal entries were my favorite parts. It felt like I felt way more connected to how those were written.
Yes.
And I don't know personally if that's because the majority of the like present day in the story is from a man's perspective who I found quite odious,
Yes.
or because of, whatever other, journal writing felt more like in the moment, even though it was sort of like a past thing.
Yes.
I think also with the journals, I honestly do think that the author did a pretty good job of interspersing the journal entries with what was going on in the plot.
Yes.
Because obviously the journal holds kind of like the big mystery and like unraveling like what the hell is going on here. So there's sort of mystery throughout the book. But I think she did a good job of like not revealing something too soon, but also like giving enough information in those journals to
Nah.
kind of
Nah.
give us a little bit of like. Are you okay?
Yeah, I was just like, really? Did I like? I'll disagree with that, but that's going to be my check mark. So
Fair
like,
enough.
that's.
I think probably there's a point in the story where that completely falls flat.
Yeah.
But I think for getting it going and how they're used, I think. It's kind of difficult.
It is. It's really.
Interpret that, but I agree with you. Like that is a check mark
Yeah.
that I have is the journal entries. Not only were my favorite part, but they felt more real.
Yes.
In the story. You know, they had sort of a solidity.
They
to
had
them that
likable
felt
characters.
Realer.
They had likable characters. That's why, like,
Yes and no.
Well, I mean, the characters that you gravitate. I mean, it was just written in a way that was very easy to follow along. You were on this Greek mysterious island with these characters, and like, oh, what's gonna happen now? And you're like, what? Ooh, what's
Yeah.
gonna happen now? That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying they were angels by any sense of the
Oh, God,
meaning. No, yeah.
Yeah. So okay, what do you have other check marks? Because I have one other check mark.
Oh, the spider threads. I like the silk. Oh, the silk. That's my other check mark. So the silk concept was introduced. I like that. That was cool, and that was different. And I liked how the spiders played into how the silk was spun and everything like that. Like you, I thought it was a neat concept. I thought it was a cool concept. And I thought it was an interesting concept. And I thought this is a concept that's going to tie into everything. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, okay. So my last check mark that I have here is how the relationships in this were presented. Now, I'm not going to say that I think the relationships were good. I'm not going to say that really they were presented as a morally good or bad or even completely whole thing. I think the relationships as they were presented in the book felt, I don't want to say felt real, but they did feel more sort of like, they felt complicated,
Yes.
That we had like this toxic relationship with Mr. Edwards, who was like very clearly like manipulating this guy.
Yes.
Or if he wasn't, was like, bipolar.
Yes.
I don't want to obviously psychoanalyze characters and give that sort of stuff, but like,
Yeah.
you could draw parallels to bipolar behavior with how he treated Henry.
It also builds on the mysticism of the silk and the spiders and the power that they hold over individuals.
Yeah, that's a good fucking point. Yeah, I mean, like, so actually, I'm gonna riff off of that because with the toxic relationship with Mr. Edwards and how he interacts with the silk and the spiders, then you have this really beautiful relationship on the other end, with the lady on the island. I've forgotten her name. I'm sorry.
Sophia and her maid. I forget the name as well.
Yeah.
I want to say it's Hira or Hima. I think it's Hima.
Hima.
I think it's Hima.
It's Hira.
Oh, it's Hira. Okay.
Thank you very much for the fact check, Lily B.
That's also my memory, so we'll see. But that rings true for me. Anyway, Hira, she, like, that's a really, complicated relationship. Isn't like this is a married woman and then she's sort of not married for a brief period of time, which then Hira takes as like she invites her into her space.
Yes.
But she's been inviting her anyway. And that relationship with the Silk as well is a lot more healthy and positive and not extractive. So that's a cool point to bring up the Silk
Yes.
with that relationship. But I thought just the representation that was in the novel felt real as well. It didn't feel like it's like, this is a lesbian relationship because we're just going to throw that in there. You
Yeah.
know? Like it felt like actually real and based on something.
Yes.
And as well as the marriages that were presented in there were like a fucking mess.
Yeah.
And Victorian as hell. But I thought that was well done. I thought the relationships as they were written and talked about, it felt like I was reading about actual relationships, if that makes sense.
And it also shows that
Mm-hmm.
it also shows that the concept of the silk and the spiders and the mythology behind that isn't inherently evil either. As you can see that there
Yeah.
can be healthy adaptive relationships like Sophia and Hima's with it, where they nurture it, they protect it, and they keep it going, as opposed to the exploitation which you see within Mr. Edwards and his business.
Yeah.
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 That's
100%.
true. That's true.
Valid.
Yeah.
But those are all my check marks. So
Me too.
If you don't have any more check marks, I'm sure you would love to get into your exes.
All right, where to begin? Okay, I want to be very clear on this. I am not poo-pooing the ending. If you are going to do this, if you want to do this, okay, just make it into 2 books. The first book, that's the diary. The second book is this. Then
Yeah.
what you have is rereadability.
You're absolutely right there, Caveman. Sophia's story is much more compelling. And we could have so much more from Henry if we got more compelling evidence and more depth from Sophia's story.
Yes, because it's what happens at the end. What happens if you must do this, if you want to do this, okay? If you want to make this big allegory about identity and all this kind of stuff, this whole mystery, if you want to make it more intriguing to the reader, make it into 2 books. Like, it needs time to breathe. This idea that you want to do needs time to breathe. You need the time to sprinkle in evidence, breadcrumbs. There's not enough. There's not enough.
You're craving more.
Vladimir talks to people. He talks to people. Why are you having him talk to everybody? He's not real. Like, he's not real. Why don't you have this? Have him, like, as little as possible, talk to people. Then you're like, why isn't he talking to, why isn't he interacting with more people? And then have breadcrumbs. Or something like only children can interact with him. That would be great. Only animals can interact with him. That would be great. But you don't. You have everyone talking to him. You have everyone talking to him. If he's not real, okay, if the idea is false identity, you have to take the time to pace yourself out, leave breadcrumbs. This is not a fucking movie. There's no visual language here. The reason why Tenet works, the reason why all these films, The Sixth Sense works, because they use visual language. Okay? The reason why Leigh Bardugo can do something like this is because she sat under the learning tree. She knows how to translate visual language into a novel. Okay? And if you must do this, you have to give it the respect to make it into 2 books. You have to give your readers respect. You have to give this big idea a chance to just breathe.
What I'm hearing, Caveman, is that you're really just craving a lot more from this author. And
No,
this
but
story.
I'm. This is what this show is. As a writer, I'm breaking it down for people. That's what we do in this show. We break it down why do we feel the way we do? And you have to give this idea respect. This big idea, respect, and you just did not. You didn't. There was no thought put into, okay, how is this going to work? How is this A going to interact with B? How is C going to interact with D? But there was no thought to put into the ending. None whatsoever.
And
so that's my first X.
And I was going to say, Caveman, this is really based upon that disappointing ending, which I think LB can really elaborate more on. Let's get into this ending, LB.
Okay. No, well, she's, she, LB X is what she wants to do. Okay, what's your first?
New experience in this. I wasn't. It's okay. Yeah. I mean, I agree. Honestly, I would have liked it if the author just ran with the journal entry.
Yes.
That's it. I think there's there's also definitely a story to be told there, with the factory and all that sort of stuff, and that adds so much more context to
Yes.
it. But I think with trying to tell both plot lines, there's a lot that goes unanswered, annoyingly enough, because we've got this, like, as much as there was sort of like mystery throughout the book, there was also this disappointing lack of, like, okay, so he's hearing his dead wife
Yes.
from across through the silk, you know, and nothing is coming from that. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, and we've got this, like, wild machine that they've created where they can control, like, it's basically a mind control machine made out of the spider silk, which
Yes.
they got sort of the theory of. And that is almost like a footnote
Yes.
in this story, which is so frustrating.
Yeah,
because
the
that's,
silk
like,
doesn't even matter.
evil as fuck, and
Yeah.
the amount of shit that you can do with that, and it's like, what? Who has that room?
Yeah.
Did it get destroyed in the flood? Where's that room? What's going on with that? That's interesting as hell. You can do so much with that. That
Yeah.
character, you know, and we get that sort of, like, really dark, sinister character.
Yeah.
With the Doctor, but we only really get that kind of at the end, and
Yeah.
he's not given a lot of breathing space.
Made to be
I
very
feel
pointless
like-
almost. You have all these amazing dark details that you want to go further, and they just don't.
No.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, there's so much, there's obviously so much mythology and, like, the ideas behind, like, how even the spiders are worshipped and, like, how that island works and all that sort of stuff. There's so much that goes unanswered there that feels like there is an answer for it. It does feel like that's a real space that we got a glimpse into. But really frustratingly enough, the way that the story is told, and I think this is what we landed on with The Binding as well, is there's
Yeah.
a really great concept. It's really cool. It has a lot of, like, promise, and we want to find out more about this stuff. But then the story itself actually kind of
Falls flat.
lays
Yeah.
a little flat. Yeah, it falls flat because there's just the commitment to pieces that are introduced, right? It's like the smoking gun, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you see the gun on screen, you got to use it.
Yes.
You can't just introduce these things and then do nothing with them.
Yeah.
We've got these, like, death voices coming through, right?
Yeah.
We've got this lady who's a factory worker and a Quaker who's, like, fighting for the workers' rights.
Right.
Oh my God, what? And you're just gonna let that be sitting there on a shelf in your story?
What could have
it's-
been what could
yeah.
have been a beautiful Victorian steampunk mystical horror had fallen into a flat level of a
Yes.
wannabe secret garden with some spiders.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really, like, I think that's what was really disappointing.
Yeah.
Is that you're right. I think, Caveman, I think you're right in terms of, like, the doing two books with it. Because with the journal entry stuff, like, I was actually, like, when I first read it, and then we jumped into, it was like, oh, that's a journal entry and not how this book is being written. Oh, okay, cool, fine, that's fine, we can work with that. And then we're jumping back, and I'm like, oh, okay. Because there's ways to do that, and then there's ways to do that, right? And I don't
Right.
think, I think want to be diplomatic when I'm saying this, to the ability of like what we've seen from this writer before and how this story went forward. I think it was utilized well, but I think it could have been so much better.
Yeah.
And yeah, I totally agree with you. I think it should have just been two separate stories that were interlinked quite obviously. And I mean, you can even do like a part 1 and a part 2.
Yes.
if
Thank you.
want.
Yeah.
You know, like if the story isn't quite enough for its own novel, do a part 1 and do a part 2. But the interlacing with it made it so that both stories were lesser.
And she easily could have pulled a Suzanne Collins in the Hunger Games and done a part 1 and part 2.
Yeah.
Have that part 1 be that lovely, heroic almost story of Sophia and how she discovers this and how it's maintained and how eventually it has to go into hiding, versus the second part, which can be this creepy, decrepit steampunk story. You have mind control machines. Take advantage of the story plot.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Use it.
Yeah. It's, like I said, she's trying to use visual language, but this writer has no ability to translate that into a book. Right? How can, like, if you don't have a confident writer, you can't just go, oh, I'm just going to write the Sixth Sense and make that twist work in a novel.
She wasn't confident in her own idea.
It was a big, but okay, moving on. So my second X. It's the bloody explanation on how the deaf girl can't hear. We can't find a way to have her hear. That explanation got me I almost threw the phone on the wall. I almost so Vladimir's like using all these tools. It's like, okay, no. And then the teacher's like, okay, she has no bill. And then Vladimir's like, no, here's the science. Like, no, you don't understand. She can't ever like hear a normal way a person can. If she does, the special thing, the properties of this girl is going to be lost. What?
What?
It's weird because they don't make it that the deaf girl really relates to the story much. She doesn't do much. She's just kind of there.
But like the explanation to that was so confusing, and how it was relayed. That's at least how I was listening to this, and then the narrator was speaking why the teacher's like, this is why A can't happen for this girl, and I'm like, what? It just.
I'm confused what you're trying to say, to be completely honest. I'm sorry.
So Vladimir in the story, right? He's in the little school with the girl and the teacher, right?
Yes.
Okay, and
Well,
he's
they're at the house.
yeah. And he has all these devices to have the girl try all these things to see if she can hear. And then it's explained to him why all this stuff will not work, but if it does work, A, B will happen. It's told in such a confusing manner that it had to be told to me several times.
Because, like, I understand, with, like, the she's not a nanny, but she's like a...
She's like a teacher. She's a teacher.
Like,
she's a governess,
Yeah.
essentially. And how I understand it is that she's railing against what Mr. Edwards wants,
Yeah.
which is a daughter who can talk, a
Yeah.
daughter who can communicate, who isn't signing because he dislikes signing because
Yes.
he's an asshole.
because he is an ableist ass.
Yeah.
For lack of better fucking terms.
But it's very unclear how the silk is supposed to even relate to that. How does it help our situation?
No.
doesn't.
It's like so the situation, like he's trying that, like we're not in like the spider thread room yet. So it's a scene, right? It's a scene.
I know what you're talking about. As I understood it, she was saying like, look, I get why you're here. She's not going to hear like that. It's just not going to happen because she doesn't have that. Like, it's just not there, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just you're not gonna, there's no small thing. It doesn't work like that, which is valid. And I think
Yes.
also what her concern is not she's special like this, and if we make her like this, she's not going to be special anymore. It's that you're taking away her ability to communicate by forcing her to talk with words because she's not actually communicating that. She can communicate very intelligently. She's a very intelligent little girl because, like, she's got finger speak, she can sign.
Yes.
She knows how to have a conversation. She's a very intelligent girl.
She's
It's just
privileged
other
as well.
People don't know. Yeah, exactly. But I think there's this attitude of, like, trying to separate her away from the other kids in the village who finger speak
Yes.
and sign.
But
right?
you did a better job of explaining that than the book did.
Well, I
And
mean,
that's
I'm not-
the problem. Like that communication, that explanation was like a couple of lines long, and it just like dragged on. You're like, okay, give me a simple explanation. Like, if I can understand what LB said, and I'm like, okay, I got it now, but I read the book or listen to the book and like, I have no idea. I'm so sorry. You got me so lost.
Yeah.
Right? That
I will also
explanation.
say, like, obviously, she's there to kind of, like, add in an extra,
Okay.
like, a layer of,
Yeah.
Character depth,
Sort
I
of.
guess, to Mr. Edwards.
Yeah.
and, like, sinisterness, right?
Yeah.
Like, because why is she deaf? No one talks about why she's deaf. She's deaf because he locked her
Yes.
fucking mom in a terrifying situation
Yeah.
and drove her crazy.
Or is she deaf from the family's use of the spider silk for so long?
Yeah.
Who knows? That would be a
Possibly.
better explanation.
But then also, we've got this, like, this is the other thing that gets me. Okay, so, like, my next.
I guess
well,
that's
it's kind of
that.
riffing off
I
of
guess
my
I
old
should.
ex anyway.
I should take that back. I mean, I guess. Okay. I mean.
Well, okay, but, like, that's a valid point, though. If you're not getting, like, it's not I wouldn't say it's a huge plot point in the story, because it's not. Because it's just another
Yes.
thing that happens.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it is actually a huge plot point because
Yeah.
she ends up going to this school that is going to go here, and, like,
Yeah.
you can potentially see him going there, and it's a whole thing. But it's not presented like that. Anyway, but your point is that it was so convoluted that you
Yes.
didn't understand it. Why did it need to be that convoluted? And that's fully valid
Yeah.
to be an ex, Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to... Just because what you thought it was saying was not what it was saying.
Right.
That in and of itself,
Right.
why is that not clear?
Yes.
Right? But yeah, I'm going to go back to my first ex of just everything being left unanswered as well, is that, or not everything, but a lot.
A lot of things. Yeah. A lot of things.
I was
just-
so confused with the relationships here because we've got the initial couple who came back from Krakos and
Yes.
with the spiders, right? And
Right.
started up or reinvented the weaving process with the spiders to make just a fancier silk or something.
Right.
And then we've got Mr. Edwards that comes in, and he is related, but I think it's his uncle
Yeah.
because there's kids in this too, and it's
Right.
just like, okay, well, she obviously was pregnant, but then she wasn't. It was a false pregnancy.
Yes.
Which is like, that's a whole thing, and that's interesting to dig into. That isn't dug into at all. But, like, she's got a false pregnancy, but then, like, what happens to her? What goes on? We've got, like, this, like, huge sort of mystery that hangs on something. Like, she wants to kill her freaking husband, obviously.
Yes.
Like, and it's just, there's this relationship, and then there's this other set of people that I wasn't quite sure who they were.
Yeah.
When we were digging into it, because I was like, oh, this is maybe 10 years down the line, his wife's dead from whatever. This is the kid that came from that. Blah blah blah. And then I was like, wait, no. completely not correct assumption there. These
Yes.
are not the same people. These are different people who are related, but she didn't have a kid. So then they're not related that way. And it was just like, it was like distracting in a sense.
Yes.
Because it wasn't explained. And obviously, we don't want to have just exposition.
Yes.
Obviously not. But I think maybe a little of it
Yeah.
could have gone a long way here.
Yeah.
Because I was just confused with the relationships in terms of the familial sense
Yes.
of what the fuck was going on there. I
Yeah.
was so confused, and there was so much that wasn't explained that if you had just taken the space to expand out the spots that you had given yourself to expand that are really interesting and cool, then there wouldn't be that confusion.
Yes.
I think there was a little bit of too much error of trust on the audience. You know, like you kind of got to give them something to go with in order for them to actually get where you're at.
There's
Yeah.
so many small little storylines and details and, oh, this,
Yeah.
oh, that. Oh, yeah, remember this? Oh, you should know that in this book that
Yeah.
it really just makes it hard to follow. And
Yeah.
you can't get
Yeah.
invested in anything other than Sophia's diaries.
Yeah.
You can get a little bit
Yeah.
invested in Henry's story, but it seems like you could get a lot more out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I know that was my first ex, but I kind of did jump back into it. Did you have another ex that you
Yeah,
wanted to talk about?
I did. I did.
Okay.
I kind of touched up on it on my first ex, but Henry Vladimir. It's you screwed the pooch. I feel like what you wanted to do here, because what you wanted to do was very obviously at the end he doesn't exist. It's this whole existential thing, okay? And
Wait, what?
Yeah,
I'm
he-
not getting that at all. What?
Yeah,
You're
at the
saying,
end.
like he made this thing up in his head entirely?
No,
Like, the whole
it's
story?
well. I mean, it's quite clear at the ending. Like he doesn't exist, right?
I didn't catch that at all, but that checks out.
Yeah,
I honestly did not draw that conclusion. But I think probably that's because I was so fucking done with the
Yeah.
story. And I was
he
like, okay,
like
cool,
it's
fine, got
like
it,
he's
done. Very good.
it's false. He's a false memory. He doesn't exist.
Right.
Just like the diaries don't matter, really. And it goes up. And he's like my biggest flaw in the story. And you're like, okay, but you didn't leave enough breadcrumbs. You told me you left breadcrumbs, but you didn't really. He interacts with way too many people for me to give this ending any legitimacy. Like,
See, that's why I don't think that that's actually what happened there. I think there could be like an argument for like, oh, was this all in his head? Was he manipulated by the spiders or whatever? But I don't think that's actually the story that was being tried to tell.
well, I mean, for me,
He's a
that's
huge
what I got.
character.
That's what I got. Like the story in itself at the end was like, okay, this doesn't matter. Then this whole story was pointless. But
It does kind of come out as a like he's coming out of a mental institution and,
Yeah.
and going off on his merry way kind of
Yeah.
thing. I do get that vibe. I hear what you're saying with that.
It leaves the entire story up for interpretation of, like Caveman said, is this all even really happening? Did it happen? Did this insane person just dream of this in his psychosis?
But here's the thing: for that conclusion to work, for this conclusion to work, and that ending to work, you need more breadcrumbs. You need more subtlety here.
Yeah.
You need. He interacts with way too many people for this to work. He interacts with. He's given a name. He's given a backstory. And, like, I get it. I do. But if you had less people interacting with him, if you had less people just passing, like more people passing over him like a ghost, if you had more passages where they, like, more, like it's more, it's up for interpretation, like who's talking to who, more in the pages, but it doesn't work because she doesn't trust the the story. She doesn't trust the story. The author clearly doesn't trust what she's doing. If she did, she would be like, okay, instead of like having this
Sticking with one idea.
having this notion that like he has to take a carriage to this place, have him walk. Why does he have to walk? Why is everybody just passing by him like he's a ghost? It's his allegory.
Is it really
And
happening, or
yes.
is it in
and that would be
the
great
perspective's head?
because at the end you would be like, holy shit, instead of, okay, cool, I never want to read this book again.
You want it to be something that can be
Yeah.
reread, where you can find
Yeah.
more detail and depth in the story, and it just doesn't provide that.
Yeah. It's like I said,
I agree with that.
it's what it's. Do you want to expand on that, LB, before I continue my thought?
I just think that it's the readability of it for a second time over is just not there.
No.
It barely has readability the first time.
It's visual language coming from an author that doesn't know how to take this concept and put it in a book. That's what it comes down to.
Too many ideas, not enough.
I'll give you
Drive.
a comparison. Lee Bardugo knows how to do this. She knows how to trust her readers. We've seen it in Ninth House, and we've seen it in Hellbent. We all know what's going to happen, and we all are like, oh my god, this is a drug recovery story wrapped in horror magic. This is awesome. And it took, for me at least, it took like 2 to 3 chapters. And I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. This is awesome. But this is a person that knows how to translate visual language in a book. The problem with this author, she does not know how to do that. So all this stuff, everything she's trying to do, it comes out as very disjointed. That's what I want to say, and that's my last X, my second X, but that's my last X because I said all I needed to say in the first X.
Fair enough. I'm struggling with this point just because, quite honestly, I don't think she was trying to do that. And specifically, oh, hello?
Hello?
Sorry, my phone is doing something weird.
Okay.
Sorry. It's fine. Specifically for the reasons that you pointed out, like he has a speech that he tells to all these people. You know, like he's very clearly a character in this book. And I think specifically with her writing style, I think she would have been a lot more obvious if she was trying to make it seem like there was, like, Mr. Edwards was a figment of Henry's imagination. Like, I think it's definitely an interesting take on the end of it. I definitely didn't think of it, and it definitely, like, when you said it, I was like, huh, maybe, but I don't think that was really intentional from the writer. But I do agree with you, if it was intentional from the writer, it was done terribly. My last X that I have here, it's kind of, it's a blatant thing, but I just didn't feel connected to the story.
Same.
Like, it didn't hit me where certain parts should hit me. The ending just bothered me so much because it was like so much. It was like someone heard that a book needs to have a denouement.
Yeah.
And so they were just like, oh, right, okay, so we had this big thing, so obviously he's going to have to heal, and then we've got this character that's important, so they're going to come in, we're just going to have a little bit of exposition from the Quaker guy who's very conveniently there, and conveniently also has a friend that's conveniently next to this guy's daughter, who he's now going to sort of maybe see, who knows, and then he goes off and everything's happy hunky-dory for him, even though he made some arguably really terrible decisions. and then also, like, there's just, like, the deaths that happened and aren't really discussed
Yes.
at the end and glossed over. What? Okay. So, like, the end pissed me off just because it felt really too much like tying up loose ends for the main character, but nothing else.
Yes.
But also, I didn't feel connected. It didn't take me that long to get through the book. I'm not gonna lie. There was aspects of it that were very interesting to me, and I found fascinating, and I wanted to find out more, and so that want to find out more made me read through it more.
Yes.
But I just wasn't satisfied by the end of it. I was frustrated by the actual end of the story, but when completing the story itself, I didn't. It's not going to be one that sticks with me.
Yeah.
And I think, unfortunately, like, having read another one of hers, I did look up the binding and what it was about, and now I remember. Conceptually, really
Don't
cool.
torture yourself. Don't do
The
it.
story quite obviously didn't stick with me. Quite obviously. So, like, I mean, there's those stories that stick with you and really sink their teeth into you. There's also stories that we've done that don't do that, and that's perfectly fine.
Yes.
Like, they don't stick in your head, and that's fine, but it was an enjoyable story. We dissected things, its faults were not overwrought by positives or whatever, but, like, this just didn't, I didn't feel connected with it. It had so many opportunities to do so much more, and it just didn't. Yeah, that's really all I've got left to say on this.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? Is this a recommend?
Oh, LB, I feel so bad for you. I'm gonna give it a thumbs down.
Yeah.
I am so hard. It's again, I don't think I can add anything that what I can add. This is the author quite clearly had a big idea, but
Not the words to put the idea into action.
instead of translating it into novels, she wanted to do visual language in a novel, and for some people they can do that. For some authors, they can't do that.
Yeah.
It's not enough breadcrumbs. To me, it's a book that I will never read again in my lifetime. If, like I said, if this book was 2 books, I think we would have something pretty special here.
Okay.
But that's me. LB, what do you say? Yay or nay? Thumbs up or some thumbs down?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you there. Sometimes we disagree on those sorts of things, but no, I'm gonna have to agree thumbs down, which is annoying because it had so much potential.
Does it hurt?
And it was a recommendation from a friend. Well, it was sort of like we had a conversation about what we were currently reading, and it sounded really cool. And she said, "Yeah, it's really cool. I'm intrigued to find out more about it." She was currently reading it, so I think that says everything. If I were currently reading this book, I might recommend it. But having finished the book, I do not recommend it. I don't recommend, unfortunately. And sadly, this author didn't stick in my head as bad enough. So, if I ever recommend her again for our next read, please just remind me.
I will.
Because clearly I can't.
I will. No problem. So, ladies and gentlemen, we want to know from you, what you thought of this book down below. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Growls go out to everybody today. Growls go out to Roland, his last day.
I just want to have a question of, are you asking people to actually read this book?
Oh, that's a good point. No, you watch this show, what not to do.
Let's agree to not read this book.
Yeah.
To only say.
So you, the viewers, are you going to not read this
Do you
book?
want people to read this?
Yeah, no. So, that will do it. And now we turn the page to October, to spooky month. And LB, I know you don't like spooky things, but what are we doing in October?
Okay, so I love, FYI, I freaking love Halloween. I love fall. I'm just a big scaredy cat.
Yeah.
So I enjoy, like, pumpkins.
Yeah.
Not scary clowns.
Okay.
So
Not it.
the
We will
next
never
book-
review it.
We're never reading that. I'm sorry. I'm never going to read that in my life.
It is
Thank
a
you.
phenomenal book.
It
Thank you
is.
very much. It's a very good book.
Yeah.
My best friend fucking loves it.
Yeah, I love it too.
My
I'm sure
favorite
it's
book is The
amazing.
Shining.
I'm never going to read it.
I love it. I love it.
You know what? The Shining was a really good movie.
Yeah.
And
But
I
the
have
book is
watched
even
it.
better.
It still stays with me. I'm sure it is. I'm not going to read it.
Why? You said you like spooky
Because
things.
I don't like no, I don't like scary things. Okay?
The book isn't scary. It's just a book. It can't hurt you.
Oh, it definitely can. It can take
Yeah.
years off of my life.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I read it. Okay, a little story. I was reading it. I was listening to it. I was listening to it at night, and that's probably a big mistake because I had so many nightmares. But I love.
This is the major thing why I don't read scary books is because a lot of the reading that I do, if it's not on my commute,
Yeah.
it's just before bed. I read to get to sleep.
Okay.
So I don't need that informing my dreams.
Okay. You don't need like a sexy vampire coming in.
I mean, yeah, I'm okay with that, but like that's
Ooh.
a different category of stories that I'm
Yeah.
reading that we are not
yeah.
reading.
No, yeah.
Like,
So what are we doing for next
sorry,
month?
No, you were saying. So next month we turn the page. Wow, on The Magician of Tiger Castle by Louis Sekar.
Ooh, Magician of
so-
Tiger Castle. I love it.
I'm intrigued by this, and I'm just gonna say it's supposed to be like a cozy adult fairy tale.
Ooh.
Is how it's been sort of how I'm reading this.
Okay.
So I'm not going to expect some big, huge, epic fantasy. You know,
Okay, yeah.
I'm expecting cozy pumpkin spice latte with my adorable little blankets as it rains outside, and I've got the cozy story that is like a little story for myself that I'm not going to shit my pants to.
All right. All right. Fair enough. So, guys, we will sort all that out off stage when the next episode is. And until we see each other again, my friends, which is next week, Tuesday, right? Yeah, Tuesday. Take care, be safe, be well, and we love you all! 20,000 plus, and may the force be with you. Bye, guys. Peace.